Today's generation of troubled youth has increased. While many people imagine a typical youngster running around a nice American home, going to college, and becoming someone in life, but reality is youth are surrounded by drugs, violence, whether we see it or not. As a community, we need to work together to inform juveniles on the risks of juvenile crime. What do you see a troubled teen to be?
Okay, for me, I would see a troubled teen as somebody who's making bad choices that are going to have more serious long-term effects on them than just little mistakes. You know, everybody makes little mistakes here and there. I would say anybody who's getting involved in drugs, especially harder drugs, who's taking really more serious involvement with like gangs and things like that. Those are the kind of kids that I end up with on my caseload, and that would be what I would consider troubled. I also would deal with kids who would have some things that are maybe outside of their control that they're dealing with, but like serious mental health conditions, things like that, which also kind of make them troubled because of what they're trying to overcome. I think that's my definition of a troubled teen.
A drinker and a smoker.
What do you believe a troubled teen to be?
I believe a troubled teen could be somebody that does drugs, that are involved in gangs, and that do tagging around the city. Also people that drink and do drugs.
I think that's a hard question to answer only because a troubled teen can be someone who either drinks or smokes, someone who abuses themselves or abuses others. It could be mentally, it could be physically, and in my eyes, I guess I would have to say a troubled teen is someone who really doesn't have the guidance of someone and doesn't really know what path they're going on and just making bad decisions for themselves and really not thinking about the future or the consequences of what their actions can do to them.
I believe a troubled teen to be someone who is seeking out for attention, for seeking out for support, for someone who just wants that feeling of belonging somewhere. When I think of a troubled teen, I think of students or youth going to gangs to feel that comfort and support and find someone who is going to give them everything that they need.
This is such a large issue to put on just one contributing factor. I would say it's a combination of I say like a lot of family involvement or lack of family involvement in that case. I don't know whether it would be like, I don't want to say issues within the family, but maybe whether it's a lack of parent involvement with the child in itself, maybe marital issues that go on between, if there's both parents of the home, marital issues that might go on that affect a child and kind of push them away from the home, and at that point the child just needs to find an outlet outside of the home, and oftentimes this whatever outlet they find or whatever other family they find might not be something beneficial to them, even though they might think it is, whether it's a gang or whether it's going and robbing people for the rush of it. I don't know. Like I can't sit here and define exactly what delinquent is, but I feel home can be a major contributing factor to it.
I believe that some of the leading causes to juvenile delinquency can either be parents or their friends that the people hang around with. Either the parents are not always there for the children, which makes them think, oh, my parents don't care about me and they can do whatever they want. Or sometimes they try to be someone they're not to try to fit in with their friends. If their friends are doing graffiti, they think, oh, I'm cool, let me go do graffiti too. Or, oh, they're stealing, I might as well do what they do or else they won't like me. So they go and do that as well. And if the parent is not there for them to tell them what to do, they're either going to take advantage of that and do their own thing and come home late, go to parties, do the things they're not supposed to be doing, as well as like smoking and stuff. So I think parents have a lot of to doing it as well. I think a person themselves shouldn't really think about what other people care, what they should be their own selves and think, oh, my future is going to get ruined if I do this, or they should think for themselves and for their future and for their children. What if their children tell them, what did you do when you were a child? You know, you don't want to do that. So either the parents have to become more stricter on their children, or the children themselves need to know who to hang out with and who are really good people and who they can trust, not do bad things.
I think there's a lot of ways that people can stop or prevent juvenile delinquency, such as after-school programs. Parents also can put their kids into after-school sports. For example, when I was growing up, I grew up in a gang-infested community. So my mom would put me into sports. I played hockey, soccer, and I would channel my energy into those sports, and I would be off the streets. There's also a lot of things that people can do, such as there's a lot of school programs that can help out kids, keep them off the streets. It's also very important that these kids have a mentor. If they don't have no one to look up to, they're not going to do nothing. They're going to waste their time doing other things such as drugs, vandalism, and eventually committing a crime where they're going to be sent to jail. So it's very important for them to have a positive role model so they can look for the future and plan for their future.
Most families abandon their homes because of gang violence, graffiti, and all this stuff. They don't want their child to be harmed. So a way to prevent kids from being in gangs or any kind of violence is joining a group, a sport, or anything fun from being in that gang. Even though most people think that that gang has your back or whatever, but seriously they don't. Like, if you do something wrong or something like that, they'll actually beat you up or even end up in killing you. So I think ways that prevent you from being in a gang is just get involved, just be in a group or sport, or even, I don't know, just don't, just hang out with your friends, and that's it.